Good evening or afternoon, whatever it may be for everybody here in Connecticut. Welcome to Connecticut Common Sense. This is Jason Douglas, along with, of course, the awesome Selena Rifkin.
Hi, everybody.
We are here to talk a lot about Connecticut, about politics, and about life in general, big doings. This is a very crazy time that we're living in, and I want to start off right away with what's going on in Connecticut with the runs coming up really in the elections next year. I don't want to overshadow what's going on locally. We do have local elections coming up in 1 week.
Yes, 1 week away.
1 week from today, when we're recording this, anyway.
I'll be
What do we
sitting
get?
at the
Well,
polls, so no Tuesday show
well,
next week.
no Tuesday show next week for the election. We will be posting this tonight, so this will be on tonight. And it's important to go out and vote in local elections. They usually get anywhere from 10 to 15% of the presidential election turnout, which is a very low number. However, one of the ways that Democrats are gaining undue power, and that's what it is, undue power, is by flooding our town councils and getting themselves elected into town council seats throughout the country, really, and the state. So got to start voting. We got to start looking at voting records of town council members and the things that they're enacting in the different towns around the state, and start voting these people out. Because unfortunately, far left Marxist principles have wormed their way into many of our local town councils,
Yep.
and we can't have it. A lot of it's been there in a it's been a little bit of incrementalism that's been going on in this country, really, in our local town councils for the last 60 or 70 years, in my opinion. Starting with
Well,
one or two people here or there and slowly working its way to where it is today, where they've actually got majorities in a lot of town councils.
mm,
And they do it by what was called incrementalism, a little weird policy here and there. And what's happened now is because Donald Trump has come into the scene, exposed all this, they've ripped the gloves off, and now they're going for things like men and women's sports and all these terrible things that we're talking about. And they really don't care about what the voters think, quite frankly. I just watched a poll recently where 30% of Americans now believe that the Democrats have gone too far left. I mean, I'm sorry, 70%, not
goodness.
30. 70% of all Americans believe that the Democrats have gone too far left. Now, a lot of people are looking at that poll and say, great, the majority of us at least have common sense still. And that's true. But I look at it like, oh no, 30% of the people actually think that these guys are on the right track.
Mm,
Now, the American Revolution, if you were to do a poll, a lot of people, from what I've studied about it, and I've studied history, if you were to do a poll in, say, New York or Philadelphia or around the country back in 1770 or 1775, you'd get about 30% of the people in favor of the American Revolution. About 70% would say they would express problems with the crown, but they would not say, yeah, we need to have a revolution, you see,
hmm
which means only 30% of the with only 30% of the population in its favor, the founding fathers were able to shake off the British crown and create
mm.
what is the most beautiful country in the world. Now, if that same number can be used for good, it can also be used for evil. So if we have 30% of our population that actually approves of this nonsense, we like to call it the 80-20 thing. We've been calling it the 80-20 thing all year.
Mm,
That I'm okay with. The 70-30 thing scares the hell out of me
mm.
because that's enough people to really create a Marxist revolution in this country.
Don't tell them.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But what I'm telling our listeners is, and our audience is that you need to get involved.
Yes.
Can't
And
let this happen.
this is our ongoing message. And
Right. And I'm going to keep on going with it, starting with your vote to begin with, and following up with running for town council seats, or at least doing the research and looking at the
show
voting
up,
records
show
of the
up and
town
say
council members.
something. Yeah.
Right. And calling them on it, getting them out of office, showing up RTCs to get the Republican Party back on track.
Mm, yeah.
Um, DeBarros, John DeBarros, we talked a lot about him on this show. He's been on. We're going to have him back on here real soon, I think.
Mhm.
I know he's doing a lot of podcasts. I've been watching him. He did a 2.5 hour one the other day. That's great.
Yeah, yeah. He's been.
So long, even I couldn't watch it. I just didn't have time to watch the whole thing. I did the 10-second thing and highlighted it through it. It was so long. I mean, I just don't have time. But he's awesome. I love the way he's doing things. But he's going to run into a lot of problems with the GOP because he's sticking it to them.
Mhm.
And he's got a tight balance. And so people to fully understand what the dynamic here is in Connecticut, Whereas you would think that if you were a winning candidate, like John is a winning candidate with the people of the fifth district, that goes for black, white, young, old, city, country. John's touching base with a lot of people.
Well, that's what, I think that's what really matters is he is out there talking to people. I mean, people always assume that politics means door knocking, but the big problem for Republicans in Connecticut has been not going into the cities. You can't just campaign on the small towns or
That's
the
right.
medium-sized towns. You've got to have the cities. If you're not campaigning in the cities, you're not really getting anything.
Part of it's
You're not.
deliberate that we're not doing it, and part of it is just ignorance. I
Mm,
literally went toe to toe with Joe Macero in front of the Hawthorne Inn the night I ran for chair against Ben Proto about that very issue. So he's
mm.
going to the cities and he's telling me, I've tried it, it doesn't work.
I'm sure they've
Yeah,
so
maybe in 1995 it
yeah.
didn't work so well. I would maybe imagine with
But
a guy
here's the
like
thing.
George Bush in the White House, I could see
Because
why.
here's the thing. If what does he mean? It doesn't work. I mean, what does he mean by
What did
that?
he do?
It's
Right.
not, yeah, what is he
What
doing?
did he do? What's his
A little
message?
self-examination here would be awesome.
If he wasn't genuine, it wouldn't work. And my guess is he wasn't genuine.
Well, there's that too. Oh, it could be, it's like, where are you going? How are you talking to people? If you're talking down to people, because we both know that there's a certain amount of, shall we say, country club mentality that shows up in the Connecticut GOP. It's like,
Huge country club mentality. It's like they're the evil empire in a lot of ways. It's really sad.
yeah, it's kind of,
I
it's,
hear that DeBarros and Proto he's going to try to meet and work. They're trying to work things out.
yep.
Proto seems to be standing in the way, and sounds like a meeting between Han Solo and Darth Vader to me. Like they sit and dine, and then it's like,
Well, you just,
is there going to be someone kill me on the way out here or what? I mean,
yeah.
so and then we know recently that Proto got. I mean, not Proto. John DeBarros got some. They say there's no such thing as bad publicity, right?
Hmm.
Well, he was finally recognized on Channel 3 at WFSB in
Yeah.
a
Yeah, I
story that
saw
we
the
posted
interview.
today, not for being a candidate for Congress, for being a possible threat.
Right.
Right. But he did a
I
great
thought
job
I
of
thought I thought it was a perfectly, I mean, as interviews went, it could have been a lot more hostile.
yeah,
And
he did a
I
great
thought it
job
was fine.
of
I
he
thought it,
represented himself so well that it turned it around actually, I thought,
yeah, I thought so too. I
and
thought
worked in his favor. Yep, yep. So anyway, this is unfortunately if you're running for office, and I'm not gonna, if we want people to come forward and run for state seats, especially. We have a
mm,
couple districts for Congress even open, and we want someone to run against Courtney. We have state seats, a lot of state seats that people need to run for. But I'm going to be upfront with you. If you're running, you're going to be up for a challenge. If you're the kind of person that's looking for a challenge, then this is it. Because unfortunately, you'd like to think you just run up against since we don't have a lot of candidates coming forward for honestly for Proto or for us, right? Our faction of the Republican Party, that's the real, in my opinion, the real Republican Party. We're not getting people lining up to run for office either. We're trying.
mm.
We talk about it on the show all the time. We're building the network to do that. We haven't even made our biggest push of that yet. So don't count us out. I would have to say both the nasty GOP and the good guys, us, are both struggling with finding people to come forward and run for state offices, right? And the reason why is because you'd like to think that since we're both having trouble, supply and demand would dictate that if you came forward and said you're running for office, that the entire Republican Party around Connecticut would back you up, and all you have to do is worry about beating your opponent in the Democrat Party, right? But unfortunately, that's not the
Not what
case. That's not the case. Instead, you have to come and fight your own GOP establishment here in order to get a winning campaign forward. Just ask George Logan; he'll tell you.
Hmm.
Okay, and we try to get him on this show too. I should probably work on him again.
Yeah, you should.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
I think if part of the job of the Connecticut GOP is to find candidates to run. That means you have to invite people into your party. That means that you have to have more people in your RTC than they're currently allowing for the most part. It means you need to have a lot of people available. You need to have create a culture of
Go to
running.
the grassroots, for God's sakes. Get out of your country club
Yeah,
and go to the
they're
grassroots.
supposed to be raising the grassroots, and
They
they're
don't.
not doing that. They're like, no, you have to come down here, and we need to verbally abuse you for a while and look at you like you're nuts. And why would you want to be a party? And you have to nag the heck out of us before we'll even let you in the party in the local RTC.
Have you run into even? I know you've been going through a lot of RTCs over the last few months. Have you run into any of them that are doing any grassroots work at
There are
all?
some. There are some that
Okay,
are good.
phew.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. They're not 100%.
Shelton, Hammond.
They're not
Yep.
100% bad. And you
Okay.
shouldn't. I'm going to go with my personal experience, my personal town, is probably
D
not
minus
not usual. Yeah, yeah. Well,
at
I
best.
can't get in
Yeah.
because there's no meetings. Really, you're supposed to have meetings. That's supposed to be like a standard. Have meetings. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. I tell people from other states that, and they're like, "What? I don't know what to tell you." This
Right,
like
right, right.
after the election is passed, I'm going to start nagging the delegates again. I'm going to start nagging my central people again. Say, what is going on with this?
Well, I'll
But
start with
I
the
also
first
need to
district.
find some more Republicans in my town, which my plan for that is I'm literally, and maybe even this afternoon, today or tomorrow, I'm going to drive around town. And I happen to be appreciative of my mayor because he does work very hard to make sure that our taxes stay reasonable. He
Mhm.
does some things that I think really upset some other people in the town, like he's sold off our water. He sold off the town management of the water company, which I think in theory saves us money. I'm not really sure how that works.
Oh boy.
Um, but anyway, so all of a sudden, we've got a big change going on, and there's some other talk. But yeah, he gets people pretty upset, which I'm okay with that too. It's like, yeah, keep my taxes down. I'm good with that. So I'm going to drive around town and look for for signs that have his name on them.
Okay.
So that's going to be for now, that's going to be like, I'm going to try and then I'm going to watch a couple of the town meetings. And because those are still online, which
Hmm.
they really should be in person.
Yeah.
If your
Absolutely
town
should be in
meeting is
person.
still online this long after COVID, what's going on
What's
there? And
going
I
on
need to sign
there?
up and talk at my town meeting and say, why is this still online? Because
Yeah.
we
Because
should,
people are lazy.
yeah, it's like
I
because
think a lot of the rank and file RTC. I can't find. Obviously everyone who's a member of an RTC around the state, they're not all corrupt or whatever thing. They're all. Some of them want to win. They're just the leadership around them. They just don't get it, and they're probably frustrated like we are. I know there's a lot. I've talked to quite a few of them in the state central committee, and I'm sure that exists in all the RTCs as well. So it's really about mobilizing these organizations, these individual
John says
organizations.
John says Waterbury's good.
Waterbury is good. Wow, that's surprising. Good.
Yeah.
That's good news if
So
Waterbury is good.
yeah, that's something. And then there's a couple of
Torrington and Winstead. Are Torrington and Winstead in the fifth? I don't think
what
so.
is what?
I'm wondering if Torrington is in John's district or not. I have to look the map again.
No, that's a good question. Considering that's right around where that
It's,
weird little
it's just a little bit north of Waterbury, but I
yeah, the
think
district's a little weird in there. It's
yeah, I
like this
know it's
weird little
twisted.
like
Yeah.
hammer shaped
I know
thing.
Bristol's part of the first, and it's like out by itself over like it's like someone's like
Yeah.
finger going out like that. It's like Cape Cod or something in the middle of the land with no water. It's like yeah, I know the districts are gerrymandered bad in here at Connecticut. There's no obviously no one's saying anything about it anywhere,
Yeah,
but it's
well,
true. They're badly gerrymandered here in Connecticut.
it's only the Republicans states that are like, hey, we can do this. It's
We can
like, no,
do this
you're gonna
too, right?
I'm
You
gonna okay,
should.
I'm gonna give credit where credit is due here because Chris Murphy just put out, and it's a bipartisan proposal that he
Anything he
put
does.
out. He put out something I actually like, so I'm going to give credit where credit is due.
All right.
So he proposed that because there are these things called AI companions, they're like computer buddies.
I
Um,
heard about this. They
yes.
replace your friends.
Yeah. Well, so
Yeah.
his proposal is that if you're under 18, companies that are doing this shouldn't be allowed to do it. And you know what? I think that's a good idea, assuming that law is actually the way it's said, but it's bipartisan. It's also being supported by Josh Hawley.
I can support that. A matter of fact, I think
I
there
can
should be
support
more
that.
rules about kids and social media in general, quite frankly. If you're under
Yeah.
16, at least, if you're under 16, maybe not 18, but if you're under 16, I mean, please, like, ever since the internet's been around,
Mm.
when you go onto a site that is probably anyone goes into a site that's not meant for kids, whatever it is, whether it's X-rated or it's political or too much graphic, violent, whatever the case may be, anything that would be rated X or R, right, in a movie theater, essentially, you go on the site and it would say, "Are you an adult?" And you click a little button that says yes, and
Oh,
on you
yeah.
go.
That's
And I
ridiculous.
used to think right from the beginning, like, what is up with that? Like, I was waiting
It's
for please
crazy.
plug in your ID or whatever, and there was none of these sites do that.
Hmm.
So I think there should be some of that
Yeah, absolutely.
for kids.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
all about freedom for people to do whatever they want on the internet. If you're 18 or older, then God, do whatever the hell you want, for the most part. But
Hmm.
I mean, if you're under 16, especially, I think, I mean, parents should have be given. I know they say it's on the parents, but no parents. The way things are these days, you can't watch your kids 24 hours a day. Most
Well, no,
parents do not do that,
they're not supposed to, but kids weren't.
and they're not supposed to anyway, right?
Yeah,
You're right. You're a good
yeah.
point.
It's
You're not
like,
supposed to watch it,
kids are supposed to have, there's a certain amount of free range that's supposed to
but
have, but
you know,
not on the internet.
people our age
Not
and
on the
older than
internet.
us, people our age and older than us didn't have all this technology. If we were left alone, all we had was our yard to play in, and it may be the telephone.
Right.
And that was the one thing the parents had to worry about. What was your kid going to do on a telephone when you weren't
Mhm.
around? And
Yeah,
that was pretty harmless for the most part.
yeah. Prank
Now
calls.
you literally have when you have a smartphone, an iPhone now, you don't just have a phone. You have a city. It's
Yeah,
the whole city
yeah.
in your hand, essentially.
Oh, yeah.
So that's something that I think needs to be more. I'm not about. I don't like government control, but there are things that government has an obligation to do, and that's protect the public safety. And if your kids are all hooking up with weird things online. No 8 or 9 or 10-year old has the judgment to handle a a pedophile, a smart pedophile freak,
Gosh.
or a some or just some crazy
Mhm.
salesman selling them something that draining whatever bank account their parents might have, whatever it is. All right. I know that when remember when we were teenagers, you had the thing that you get the magazine and the paper would say you could buy 12 cassette tapes for a penny.
Yeah,
Remember
totally.
that?
Yeah, Columbia Record House.
Yeah, I saw that and I went right for it, and no ID needed. That was our version of the internet corruption. That was all. And I ordered. I got the tapes in the mail. I had like one of them was a Bob Seger greatest hits, and
Uh,
I remember what some of them
Had
were and everything.
Steve Miller Band and ELO.
And the funny thing is if you were under 18 by law, you're not obligated to pay for those.
I know.
I paid for mine, but I think I
Yes,
was
I did.
$14.
Yeah, I went to the post office and got a oh, what do you call them? Money order.
Yeah,
I was
yeah, that's what
always
I did.
at the
Right, my
money
parents
order
had no
section.
idea.
Section gift card.
My parents had no idea about it, and what happened was, what the catch is though, you get the 12 for a penny, but if you don't do a certain procedure, which as a 12 or 13-year-old kid, you don't know the procedure,
Right.
they'll start sending you a tape. So the next month I got a tape with a bill for $17 for
Right, right.
a tape. It would have been $9.95 then at
I
Belmont
actually
Records.
paid attention to that because I also did the
I
science fiction
I didn't
book.
know that. I mean, I just didn't. I was a kid. I mean, I just like. I think I
Oh,
might have.
I actually caught that part.
That's where they started saying that's where I didn't pay the bill right away, and they started, and I think I eventually paid it, but whatever.
Um,
But that's what I'm getting at is
But,
that's small
yeah,
potatoes
it just,
compared to what we
set
deal with
yourself
kids
for
are
the
dealing with
trouble.
today, right?
Yeah. So yeah, what the trouble you get into today is like much, much more disturbing.
Right.
It's like AI companion. Yeah, yeah,
So I
that's
don't know. Like another thing I want to talk about a little bit is I have decided I'm going to run against John Larson for the first district, and it's so far I'm building a little bit of a team. I haven't filed anything yet. There's nothing official here yet.
hmm.
But in my mind, I feel like I can do it, and I feel like I'm the guy that can do it. Now, I want to be clear. Um, I've been asked the question, "Why do you want to run for Congress?" The answer is, I don't. I don't want to run for Congress. I don't want to get involved in politics like this. I don't even want to do any of this movement. To be quite frank with you, I'm a private. I like the private life,
Hmm. Don't we all?
but
Well, and there you go. And this is exactly what we're talking about.
right
If you're
because of
doing
what I've
something
talked
you
about at the
don't want to
beginning.
do, that's
Right, sometimes you got to do things you don't want to do. I have a friend. I'm not going to say who it is. A really good friend, known him my whole life pretty much, who feels the same way I do about everything, but hates politics. Isn't going to get involved at all. Doesn't even really want to talk about it much anymore. Forget about. He doesn't follow it. He's just ignoring as best he can. Right. and I respect that. But since he's a really good friend of mine, I can also tell him I feel the same way you do, but I'm man enough to freaking stand up and fight for it, though, because we don't. This is not politics anymore. This is about saving the free world against Marxist movements in our country, which could destroy the lives of everybody. Listen, people don't realize that the middle class, of what I call a majority, not just the middle class, but a majority middle class, which we have in America, is something that has never existed ever anywhere in the world before. It's still ever, and it still doesn't exist anywhere in the world really, except a little bit in Europe because of our influence in the 20th century. Europe has some of it for a while.
And they're losing it.
They're losing it. The rest of the world doesn't have it. We're all that's left of it. Before the existence of the United States, the middle class consisted of about 5% of the population in the rest of the world they had no homes. They would migrate and run around in horses and carriages and sell junk that they found in the side, whatever they found in the woods, it was like eBay from the Middle Ages. And that's what it was. They run, and whatever the junk crap they found in the woods, they could get in a fight or whatever, they would sell it. And that's also where entertainment industry came from in the Middle Ages too. And they were very poor. Entertainers, actors, they go around, they do little skits, and it was like gypsies almost. It was a very small number. They were cool people. That was the middle class. Okay, there were nobodies. There was 5%. Until the United States came along, that was it. Now we have a majority middle class, which means that any individual can have a good life, essentially, if they decide to work for it.
Right. Yes.
That's all. That is the one thing that we have in the United States that you did not have before here. If you were born into a royal family or into nobility, you were all set. If you weren't, you suffered and oftentimes died and starved and suffered. That's it. So that's what we're fighting for. That's why I need people to come forward, run for office. Now I ask myself, this is why I'm running for office. That's why. Not because I want to, because I feel like I have to. I feel like I have a big enough mouth to help and make a difference. And I want to stand up and fight for it. And I think I urge every single man in Connecticut and woman to do the same thing. Do it in your own way. Yeah. You don't have to do it by running for office necessarily, or even you don't even have to put yourself out there that much. Do it sit and think about how you can do it in your own way. On any level, whether it's on a small level, just with you and your friends, or rather by talking to you and your friends and people around you, or writing letters to Murphy, telling what a prick he is, whatever it is, okay? In your own little way, running for office, come forward, talk to me if that's what you want to do. Because I think now I'm going to get into how a campaign should be run in 2025. We talked a lot of negative stuff earlier about Marxism and the spreading and 30% of the people, whatever. There's a good news. I want to turn around and talk about the good news, though. The good news is that people are aware of this now. I don't think I'm telling you something you don't already know. And I think that Donald Trump's election has been a huge roadblock in this movement that's what I said has been going on for 60 years. Donald Trump and his election and the MAGA movement is the hugest roadblock they've ever faced in trying to destroy America. We kind of he's closed the border. That was one of their biggest things. He's turning around the Justice Department now, getting rid of lawfare. He's stopping the wars, which, by the way, these wars that are around the world fund these people.
Yeah.
By creating peace. That's one, and Trump knows that. He's creating peace around the world, cutting off their funding. He's destroying cartels in the oceans. I mean, this is great. This is the kind of things that we've all sat around the dinner table and said that our president should be doing. And now he's doing it. And so because of that new atmosphere, if you want to run for office, you have enough people that are starting to rise up. The sleeping giant is that's us. The sleeping giant of freedom-loving people in the MAGA movement has awoken, and the die is cast. Trump's forced them to take off the mask. They're doing all these crazy things that we're all just scratching our head about. If you're a registered Democrat in Connecticut, you know what I'm talking about. Go register as a Republican. Pete's sake. You can always go back later if they fix the party and go back to their normal, sort of left-wing leaning. Yeah, centrist is good.
Fix your damn party.
It's good to have a left-leaning party to offset our extreme side.
Don't want to be a single party.
We don't want a single party. We want a strong liberal party that has left-leaning tendencies to help offset our extreme side, because we have an extreme side too.
Sure.
That right now we got them under control because they're happy with Trump. But we have an extreme side too. Okay.
I think it's important to remember that that there are a lot of people in this administration, which is currently a Republican administration, that were Democrats. Trump used to be a Democrat.
That's right.
Trump used to be a
Right.
Democrat, and obviously there's RFK Jr. and there's Tulsi, but I'm sure there's others too. But or it's like, come on, Trump
Yeah.
used to be a Democrat. Hello,
I think that what as
that's
much
what
as
happens here.
that is what happens. As much as our party needs good MAGA people to step up and fix the GOP corruption, so does the Democrat rank and file voters need to go flood their DTCs in Connecticut and start demanding a little bit of sensibility in their policies. They
Yeah.
may believe in increased funding for social programs and things like that, but not this woke business, not this destructive stuff, not this violent rhetoric.
Yeah,
Guys like
look at
John
that
Larson.
80% issue and figure out it's like, do you agree with all that? Because
Yeah, you really want to
have
go along
trouble
with this
if it's an
20%?
80% issue. What's going on here? Why is the 20% running the show? There's like at least another 30% of the population that should be going in and like making a correction there.
Yeah, you know what the best piece of advice I can give for any confused registered Democrats out there is, and this is really meant out of love. Try to go research facts
Mhm.
and then let the facts dictate how you feel. Let the facts let the facts dictate. When you see something that's a fact and you think it's wrong, then you can get mad about that. Don't do it the other way around. A lot of left-wing leaning people fall for this mistake. They decide they're mad at something. It's wrong that there's too many poor people when there's so many people so rich, right? And now that's the whole whatever. They don't listen to the facts. It's just what can we do to stop that? And they're willing to ignore facts to look for whatever fits the narrative of what they already think they feel about. So it's supposed to be facts before feelings. Go watch a couple of episodes of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood if you don't remember. Okay, it's facts before feelings, not feelings before facts. You're supposed to have something happen and then you get happy or sad. You're not supposed to say, I'm happy and I'm only going to look for things that make me happy. Or you say, I'm mad and I'm only going to look for things that make me mad. That's not what you're supposed to do, okay? So try not to do that. That will help you get to where you need to get and help the free world survive. So, and now as someone who's running, I am going to run against Larson. It's not official yet. However, how am I going to run this campaign? Like I'm scratching my head. I have someone who I want for manager. I think she's going to do it for me. She's already agreed to.
Sorry.
Um, what's it? What
No,
happened?
sorry, my phone rang.
Oh, that's okay. I don't think I can run the campaign like a normal campaign. I can't run it like John and stick it in the eye of Ben Proto too much because I'll have my own party against me. I am running as a Republican after all. But I'm looking at a new party that just got formed called the New England Party.
Hmm.
As I mentioned the other day, I think. And we're going to try to get them on the ballot and get my name on that. And we're going to go for signatures. We're going to go all the way. But I'm not going to be quite as loud on the internet, maybe as John is. But I'm going to go maybe half that way because I want to win
There's
over a
the
lot of.
Constitution Party too, and
Yes,
there is like cross.
I
You
want to be
can
at 3 or 4
like
ballots.
lines. You can do the line thing on in Connecticut, which is how we ended up with the Working Families Party endorsing Democrat candidates. So if you're out there voting, and the Workers' Party has just pay attention to when the Workers' Party has endorsed someone because they're literally a communist front.
Yeah, do not endorse or have anything to do with the Workers' Party. Don't check any names next to that party on a ballot anywhere. It's called you might as well call it the Communist Party. Just naming it
Well,
fake.
I mean, the whole reason they call it the Working Families Party is they want to make it sound appealing, but
Hmm.
it's run by the same people as the Connecticut Communist Party.
What was Marx's biggest line? Workers of the something unite
World
something,
unites,
right? That's the
working
Workers'
for,
Party. Yeah,
yeah,
see,
yeah.
look, we
Well,
like work. We like working people too, but we want working people just to be given freedom to do whatever they want. Not to. You don't need to revolt. Okay, there's nothing to revolt about. We have a good country here. We
yeah,
really do.
we're not looking to tear down the establishment. We just want to clean it the heck up. That's
But I
all.
want to run a campaign that's different than I think that anybody wants me to run. But and then Jaberos is all over the internet. I want to do the same thing, but more on a personal level. So I'm looking into setting up with John and a couple other people the technology. I'm going to start doing a lot more. I'm going to do another YouTube network besides Connecticut Common Sense. I mean, I'm not sure what I'm going to name it yet, but it's going to be a lot of me online, I guess, and a lot of things that I do for work. And I've been watching some feeds on Facebook recently. I followed a couple of people that are doing First Amendment auditing. Have you seen any of these clips?
Oh, what's that all
Oh,
about?
this is interesting. This is very interesting. I'm going to bring it up. I'm glad I thought of it actually. Um, we're basically people are going out and protecting our First Amendment rights by going into places like I'll give you an example. One of them was a parole office in, I think, California, maybe, or Michigan. I can't forget what state. No, Gainesville, Florida. That's what it was. And it was a parole office, and he went in there with a camera as a journalist to film because federal law says, as the Constitution says, that first of all, we're all journalists. You don't have to have a special credential to be a journalist to protect the First Amendment. And they're basically going out and filming the goings on of this parole office in the lobby, not in the restricted area, but in the lobby where there's public postings everywhere. If you're going to a lobby of a state office or a lobby of any public place, you can literally, there's no law that says you can't videotape in that office. And it was things like he was doing an audit. He was basically, there were two guards there, and he asked them, "Are you both here all day? Is it really necessary? Doesn't seem like there's a lot going on. Is it really necessary to have you both here all day? Stuff like that." And very polite, very professional, but just seeing what's going on. And of course, the guy came out and said, "You need to leave." Blah blah blah. And there's a poster. Literally, one of them was at a post office, where at any federal building you could go and film. It's totally illegal. And it says it's right there on the wall. The guy refused to read it. Still made him leave.
Wow.
Called the cops. So anyway,
Wow.
to make a long story short on this, there's these different things. Another one was where there was a guy. This one that went viral, I believe. I think it was Michigan. There was the one that was Michigan. He was standing outside an industrial park. He was standing near the road on public land, and he was kind of videotaping around. And one of the businesses was there, and he's videotaping the business, and which is legal. And the guy came out from the business. One of the employees came out and kind of pushed him and tried to grab his camera. And he's like, "You're assaulting me. I'm here. It's legal what I'm doing." And then they stormed back in the house, called the police. The police show up, and it was immediately about the journalist being the perpetrator.
Mhm.
And they never even bothered to go talk to the guy that had assaulted. He said, "I want to file charges for assault. I'm just here being a journalist." And the police ended up, the sergeant showed up. He thought the sergeant would help. The sergeant ended up throwing him on the ground, cuffing him. And he's like, "I got 117,000 people watching this. This is my First Amendment right. I'm a journalist. Like, I have a right to stand here." And the things he was saying to the officer were great. Like, "You're a tyrant. You're acting like," he was polite. A couple of them are actually swearing at the officer. "Fuck you." He's throwing the officer. And I'm like, that's not appropriate. I don't think that's right.
Well,
Really.
it's
You could,
ill-advised in any.
it's not the right thing to do. Don't ever do it at home. Yeah, don't ever do that. I wouldn't advise doing that. But these guys are, by the way, these guys do have large audiences, and they have a lot of backing behind. They have lawyers that are backing them up. So it's not something I suggest you just go out and do.
Hmm.
But it's interesting, like how I go into state offices all the time, and maybe I am allowed to have my camera running or whatever. And I also want people to know who I am too, what I'm all about, why needs to happen, why people need to come forward.
Mhm.
Why the first district needs to rally around getting Larson out of office, and why we need to rally around changing the power structure here in Connecticut, because
Well, there's always, I mean, if you want to spend a little money, there's always the little camera on the glasses thing.
yeah, they're right. You're right.
That's
Hidden or
that's
not, but
that's less obtrusive as long as you're doing it legally.
so it's essentially there's another one where a guy
Not
had
picking a fight,
uh,
you know.
I think in Connecticut it's illegal to wear a bulletproof vest. I'm pretty sure,
I
which
think
is not a constitutional law. If a cop can wear one, you can wear one. If you don't feel safe, you want to wear a bulletproof vest. That's your right. But there's a case where a guy asserted that right, and the cop took him down. And so, but he would say that like sometimes the supervisor would show up and like do the right thing. He'd say, "I prevent you doing the right thing, but I'm sorry, I'm gonna need your name and badge, and I'm gonna file a complaint against you. You're a public servant. You work for us, and you're acting." And we do now. Listen, I love the police, but there are certain police officers that do act like tyrants, and they think because they
well,
have a badge and a gun,
there
they're
is
better than you.
there's a degree, and I don't know which towns because, I talked with people who got beaten up by the police.
I know. Well, right now in Connecticut, we have no elected law enforcement officials at all. Not one.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a
we
problem in
lost
itself.
our sheriffs, and I think
Time to
that's
start holding the law enforcement accountable in Connecticut, and I think I'm gonna. So that's gonna be part of my plan. So starting in December or January at the latest, I'm gonna start a new YouTube network. It's gonna be basically a lot of hours. Some of it might be boring. You don't have to watch all of it, but I want people to really know who I am, why I'm doing what I'm doing, and why I think not only that, but more importantly that why you should join me,
right. Well,
why
people
you
do
should
live
help me,
streaming all
help
the
us.
time. It's like So just the total is not what you're going to be doing. But my stepson, when he's just working on his house in the background, he'll have live streaming of some guy just walking around some city in some foreign country.
Right.
The guy's just walking through neighborhoods, he's like, you see the camera bobbing. So, you'll be talking, it'll be companionable for people.
Right, kind of like I mean, they did this summer. I did a couple live feeds. I went to that stupid No Kings rally, the first one in April, I think it or May or whatever that was,
Right.
in Manchester, walking around talking to these people. What are talking to liberals and seeing how unhinged they are. And then we did one at the John Flynn rally in Middletown. So I haven't done a lot of live stuff, but you're gonna see a lot more of it. I think it's important. For us to all rise up together. The only way we can really beat, because Connecticut is really bad. I mean, there's a very deep grip on people's right to speak out in Connecticut right now, and look what happened to John Flynn. So we need strength in numbers, and I think I really want to rally the group on there, and hopefully I can do it for a while before someone hacks my account again or something, because people will try to stop me.
Right.
And I am running for Congress against large. What kind of campaign am I going to run? Like my campaign manager would tell me, I'm not going to reveal who she is yet because we have to work a few things out. But my campaign manager will tell me she wants me to stay offline for the politics for the most part. But on the other hand, so most of what I'm going to do is not going to be directly about my running for Congress or anything like that.
So we'll just have to be careful what we talk about.
Yeah, I don't want to be. No, I want to say whatever I want, but yeah, I mean, well, we're probably gonna end up. I'm gonna end up on this show once a week. We talked about. I'm gonna go down to once a week.
Figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We're gonna have a lot of good guests on here, by the way, too, which we're gonna talk about a couple afterward that are coming up. I'm really working on Erin Stewart. John and I both agree that again, she's not my number one pick for governor, but she's the best thing on the slate right now, and I think that she would actually come around and be useful as governor.
Well, she certainly has experience running a town. So,
Yep.
that's,
Yep.
next step up and all that. She gets some good advisors. She's got experience of that, which I think is actually, it's like you can have experience with governance, but if you don't actually run something, it's like being a representative is different than like running, a municipality or a state. So
Of
I think
course.
she's got that going for her.
Yeah.
So, I think that'll help. And that might even, that could even be better than like being a senator or a representative because she's going to have better fiscal experience than a representative or senator would. And I think in Connecticut, we need that more than we need about anything else.
She's up against the same thing that John and I are up against, though, because she has her own GOP party against her, the way we do. They all want Fazio. I know that Proto and their cohorts in the GOP establishment around Connecticut want Fazio in there. So that's what she's up against, which is why I kind of want to connect with her and help her. I want her to join our movement, really.
Right.
But she's cautious. She's cautious, and she's part of the establishment by definition.
Maybe she's changing her mind now. I hope so.
I hope so. I hope she'll. I like to.
I don't think she's good. I'm willing to trust that.
I think her heart's in the right place. I really do. John convinced me of that. I wasn't. I was never thinking shit that it wasn't. But I just never. I was against her at first because honestly, like I've said before, I was looking for somebody else to run. I still would like if somebody stepped up like Megyn Kelly with the kind of communication skills she has and her ideology where it is. I'd be like, sorry, Erin, I'm going with Megyn. That's it. So Erin's I look at like this. Oh right. Guess there's nobody else. Okay, Erin. I'm not like in love with her like that. But again, I do think she would do the right thing as governor. With the right backing, she would do the right thing. So.
Right. Yeah. Oh.
Anyway, anything else on your mind?
There was, but I think it escaped.
I talked it away. Sorry. Got a big mouth today.
Jason, yeah.
But I think I want to run a different kind of campaign that's a lot more just open to the people, like directly to the people, and a lot more open online, things like that. But not necessarily about every. Of course, we're going to talk about the issues, but I don't want it to be all about the issues. I want to talk about just regular things too.
Oh, I know what I was going to tell. Yeah, get in terms of guests, I've got someone I've got a couple people from Norwich on, waiting because I'm not doing anything really until after the election.
Right.
So
Okay.
and I've got a lot of schoolwork right now. So
Well, it's not too late to go out and register and vote in your local elections, right? Not too late.
yeah, please get out and vote in the municipal
Go
election.
out and vote in the municipal. Go vote for Steve Orozco in New Haven. He needs all the help he can get down there.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
You know, if you're in New Haven and you want freedom to continue, you want to see New Haven thrive, and you want to see crime go down, you got to go vote for Steve Orozco. People in there now are not doing the job, as you know. In the inner cities, hear me out. And in Hartford and West Hartford, those are the two big cities in the first district. I'm coming to see y'all in Hartford. My office was there for years. I know Hartford intimately. I have a lot of stories I can tell you about Hartford, personal ones, other and otherwise. And
Okay.
I have nothing to hide. You know, I'm an open book, man, pretty much. You know. So anyway, so good guest coming up. What about the woman from the woman from the Eastern Europe?
Yeah, I've got a schedule with her. She only does evenings. So,
Okay, let me know because I really want to
she's
do
a
that one.
puppy, but her name is, she actually interviewed a bunch of the people that we know. Her name is Agnes, and she has her own YouTube channel. And she interviewed a bunch of the folks that already are, work with us in terms of like election integrity and stuff like that.
Okay,
She did an interview with them, and I haven't watched it yet, but I know it's up. So,
I'm available most evenings, so let me know. We'll do a live one if we want.
okay.
All right,
All righty.
on your mind?
That's it. I think we're there.
I think we're there with a little bit of shorter version today. We'll be back Thursday, though. I plan on being back Thursday. We'll do some more.
Okay.
And remember, get out and vote in your local elections. Get involved. Get involved in your own way.
All right.
That's the theme. You know, do it.
Okay.
Save this country. Save the free world. God bless
Save Connecticut.
Connecticut. What was
Save
that?
Connecticut. Save
Yeah,
Connecticut. We're worth saving.
we're worth saving. This nation and the state are worth saving. God bless Connecticut. God bless America. Have a great evening, everybody, and we'll catch you on the rebound.
Bye, guys.
Bye.